Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Good Life Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Blakely, and I am pleased to be joined today by Renee Sobotka of True North Technologies here in Lincoln. So, Renee, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Let's get started and get to know you a little bit. What books are you reading or listening to right now?
Well, I'm currently rereading The E-Myth. That's a great book for all entrepreneurs in every phase of the business cycle. So I think it's really good as you grow to go back and reread, because there'll be parts that just make a lot more sense later on. And then I always like to tell people about one of my favorite books that I've read is Shoe Dog, and it's the story of Phil Knight and how he started Nike. And I think we all just assume that Nike's always been Nike and Phil Knight's always been Phil Knight, you know, the way it is now. But he was just hawking shoes out of the back of his car and on the brink of bankruptcy multiple times. And I love the story about how he got the name of his company and everything. So it's a good read. It's a really good story. So
that's a great book. That's one of the first audiobooks that I listened to.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I love reading books, and they're mainly all about personal growth and development or business growth. So
are you a reader or do you listen?
Listen.
Yeah, me too.
Always having something on in the car. So reading Rich Dad Poor Dad right now.
Great book.
Super interesting, and Good to Great is another one I recommend a lot.
Yeah, those are all good books. How about podcasts? Are you a big podcast listener?
I wish I had more time to listen to podcasts, but I do listen to a few that are really interesting to me. I like Built to Sell radio.
Okay.
That's all stories about business owners how they improved their companies to sell them for more. Like if they thought they were going to sell it for 4x, they got 8x, 10x.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so it's all based on the Value Builder system and like improving your company in 8 different pillars. And if you can, be really solid in all of those 8 things, then your company's worth a lot more.
Very cool.
So
What's the name of that again?
Yeah, that's Built to Sell.
Built to Sell. Okay.
Yeah, so I really recommend that one. And I love Bigger Pockets because I'm in real estate as well. And I just found a local one, and it's called Minority Report. And those guys are awesome. Like, I really enjoy listening to their podcast too.
Minority Report out of Lincoln here?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Minority Report. Yeah, you guys gotta check that one out too.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I haven't heard of I've heard of Bigger Pockets, but I haven't heard of the others. So awesome.
There's so many good podcasts out there.
Yeah.
I wish I had like all the free time in the world to listen.
I know. I've said
There's such good content. You can learn so much.
I have a huge list, and I maybe get to not even a third of them.
I know.
Week,
yeah.
So, but there are a lot of good ones out there.
Yeah. But I love how, people that are like absorbing information love to get new information. It's just so readily available.
Yeah.
It's like right there at our fingertips, and
absolutely.
Yeah. It's cool.
Very cool. All right. So I'm interested to hear the story of True North Technologies. Tell us about your journey, how it came to be, what you do, and just kind of give us some insight into your business.
Awesome. Well, I started True North Technologies about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
It was basically inspired, upon the passing of my father. Like, I went to his funeral, and he was a builder, and my parents owned a lumber yard in West Point. And I just kind of grew up around entrepreneurs in my family, and just heard so many great things about my dad, and like, how great he was at his craft, and what a legacy he left, and how generous and giving they were. Sure. And I just felt really proud to be his daughter. And I thought, I don't know if I really feel like my kids would be really proud of my career if I were to pass away today, right? Like, I was in financial reporting and accounting, in banking. I also did internal audit at one point in time for Union Pacific, but yeah, I have a finance background and like a business sense, I guess. But writing those reports just didn't seem like a big deal. Like, nobody's gonna read this report. Nobody's gonna know if it's right or wrong. It'll get filed away in that board packet, and it just didn't feel like worthy of my time. Like, somebody else could do that job.
Yep.
There's probably something better out there for me.
Sure.
So I really started thinking about like, what do I want to do? And I set a goal for myself that I would work for myself by the time I was 40. I really felt passionate about that at that point in my life and had no idea what I was going to do. But
Sure.
Just slowly but surely, things kind of fell into place. And the first thing that happened was an opportunity to buy a duplex from a friend, and their family was in a medical situation where they needed to sell that to support their father. And I was, looking for an investment at the time, and man, that was like such a great deal. It was like, okay, I got it for a great price. The tenants were awesome. I'm thinking, this is great. They're like paying down my debt and I'm building an asset base,
Sure.
So this is what I want to do. I'm going to start doing real estate. So I just started learning everything I could, reading everything and listening to Bigger Pockets and going to meetings in Lincoln with other real estate people and real estate investors, and started getting more and more into that. And I just knew that it was something that I wanted to continue, but wouldn't be able to really live off of that because you're continually reinvesting in your properties.
Sure.
And hopefully buying other properties as well. So I needed to do something like alongside that would be something I could live off of, actually make some money. So I just started looking around, and I found this software where you could develop apps without having to be like a computer programmer.
Okay.
I've always had like a really strong affinity for software that, I ended up being in roles at different places where I would implement new software.
Sure.
And I saw how much it would help the businesses when it was good software, like it could really make a difference. And so I thought bringing that technology to business owners was really valuable, making it, affordable, something that was sort of off limits based on the amount it would cost to develop a traditional app.
Sure.
So when I found that, I was like, I really love this idea. I love, helping other businesses sell more, being able to communicate with their customers and everything. So I went with it. I bought the license to the software and started going to Chamber of Commerce meetings.
Sure.
And people wanted to meet and they were interested, and I was busy with my real estate and my full-time job, and I just figured I gotta go for this for real if I'm gonna do it.
Sure.
I need to really just take the leap, So I did, and I am really glad I did because it was the beginning of True North Technologies.
Okay.
So
So that was about 2.5 years ago.
yeah, 2.5 years ago that I bought the license. It was February of 19. So
Okay.
yeah, and it also came with website development software. So right away we were doing either apps or websites for people.
Okay.
I did find that maybe we were a little early to market in Lincoln, Nebraska for app development. So we developed a lot more websites to begin with, and started growing our customer base. And pretty shortly after that, I hired Dylan, my first employee, that summer to help me with building demos and developing websites. So he's still with me today. He's awesome. And
Very cool.
yeah, we've just sort of slowly added different services, and more employees. So
Yep.
we're up to 9 people now.
Very
So,
cool. In
yeah.
2.5 years. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's a lot.
Good for you. Good for you.
We're at where I was hoping to be in 10 years.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty good about that.
Great.
Yeah.
Talk about, I think it's interesting that you said you needed to take the leap. Talk about leaving your full-time job, the full-time job didn't probably fulfill you from, what you wanted to do, or, like you said, you wanted your kids to be proud of you. But the security of leaving that, where you got a steady income, was that decision hard? Was it freeing for you? What was that like?
Well, it was definitely scary. And I think True North Technologies was born out of fear of telling people I was quitting a full-time job to be a property manager when I only had 2 duplexes. That didn't feel like it was a big enough thing to quit a full-time job for. So I felt the need to like appease everybody else in the world by starting another company. So I think that's one thing that I learned in that scenario is like, don't care what other people think. Do what you want to do, what's going to make you happy. Take calculated risks if you need to. I feel like my financial situation made that a little less scary. I was really, as a finance major, you learn early on like the value of paying off debt and, you know, saving. So it was a little easier for me to like not have an income at that point because of that. So it was just, well, if you're ever gonna do it, you just have to do it now. Otherwise, you may never take that step. So
there's never a good time.
Yeah, my friend Chris Peterson, she has always said like, jump and grow your wings on the way down, and that is exactly what I did. I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't have a network. I had never been in sales. I wasn't in marketing, like I was in business. So all I really wanted was to create a company that I could run and manage, and I really never intended on being the app developer for long. Like I really wanted to grow a full-size company.
Sure.
So
Very cool.
I kind of went into it with a different mindset than people traditionally do when they start a business. They start because they love being a website developer.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's, you know, you're good at a trade, so you start a business in that trade, but it's hard to pull yourself away from that to truly become a business owner at times. And so going at it from a different approach. Have you learned to love and appreciate the marketing side?
Absolutely. It's so fascinating to me. The technology just constantly changes. Social media is just a moving target at all times. You know, all the algorithms that change, the new rules they're enforcing, and like figuring out how to outsmart the almighty Google is like super fun. There's no greater challenge. So I am so passionate now about like helping businesses be found, and we love seeing like our clients grow and just become successful, and using our assistant, you know, they're just getting better every day, and it's just an absolutely rewarding industry to be in, because it's very confusing. Like we get to really like take their hand and kind of guide them through all of those things that they just don't have the time or energy or knowledge to even do. So it's really, really fun for me now, and it's all technology, and like that was the part of all of my other jobs that I loved. At all of them, I was like, I would write SQL queries to gather data when I was at UP, and I implemented a wire system and figured out an interest rate risk system, and Jack Henry. Like it was banking software, kind of similar to Pfizer. I loved figuring that all out, you know, and I could just dived in.
Right
So like that's essentially what I'm doing now. I just don't have to write the financial reports that go along with it.
Figuring out algorithm, and it's so true as a small business owner to figure out SEO and algorithms, and to have the time to do it. It's just
to do it right, to do it justice. I think one of the worst things that you can tell a brand new business owner, someone that's just getting started, like, well, you know, you can save a lot of money, just do your own website. I do not recommend that to people, because they will waste a lot of time. They'll never actually be happy with it. It won't do them any good, because it's not set up with SEO in mind and that customer in mind. They're just out there like saying, we do this, and it's not what a customer is going to stick around and read. A website is essentially that sign that you hang on your front door when it was 1950 and all you had to do was open a store on Main Street and put out a sign. Well, your website's your sign now, and it better be good, because people have a very, very short like attention span, you know. They just need to be spoon-fed information.
So talk about True North. You talked about websites, you talked about SEO. What's the whole buffet that you offer for clients?
So in addition to the app and website development, we can do search engine optimization. We do social media management for people. We offer a text message platform that people can white label, and it's MMS, which is different than the texts you get from Nike that have like a a shopping code and a link, just text. We also send out images with our text, so it's just think about if Nike sent that same message to you with the like discount code, but it showed like their 3 newest releases, and maybe a cute outfit for your kids.
Sure.
Wouldn't you be a little bit more likely to click on that?
Yeah.
I think that technology is just so cool. That was developed by Tap On It, and we're proud to be able to offer that to our clients. It's a super cool new technology, and it's a great way for even internal communication within an organization. If they want to have a 1,000 or 2,000 people employed at a company, you need to like communicate with all of them. Everyone's on their phone, and they'll definitely see it if you're texting them.
An alternative to Slack, kind of? Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. So we're doing that, and we do Tap On It as well, which is text advertising. We have people opted in to receive text messages from us for offers from local businesses.
Okay.
And we send out like a picture of like their food or whatever they're trying to get people to do in Lincoln, with a great offer, and people are really enjoying getting those too. So
is that fairly new?
Very new, very new, yeah. And I think we're maybe the only digital marketing company in Lincoln that is offering MMS texting with the pictures. Maybe even in the state of Nebraska, honestly. I don't know of anyone else that's doing it.
Very cool.
And we also, we just partnered with Centro. They're like the largest independent ad buying agency in the United States.
Okay.
And we can buy all of your connected online advertising, whether you want to put an ad on Hulu or Spotify or on the Weather Channel app or 1011 News website.
Sure.
We can buy all of that ad space wherever you see an ad or hear an ad, and that software is just super cool. It's like machine learning, so it learns your client and like what gets clicked on, and they slowly but surely like change where we place ads and
very cool
target different people in different ways. So I love that technology too.
That's awesome.
So I'm like really passionate about bringing new technology to business owners to help them grow their business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and it changes so much. There's a little bit of, like you said, you were maybe a little bit early to the app side of things in Lincoln, but so there's a little bit of risk in that, but being ahead of the game, things just evolve. It seems like they're going to evolve to that point anyway, so
might
as well be there early.
So we're ahead of the curve there. But I think that's another important thing for business owners is, don't go into the business with, that hard and fast, like, this is what I'm going to do rule. Because it doesn't matter what you think you're going to do. It only matters what your customers need.
Right.
And what I found was like, they really needed help, getting domain ranking, like getting found on Google, or how to place that paid for ad on Google, do some A/B testing.
Sure.
So that's what my customers needed, and so I heard that and just went with it. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So what's been your favorite part of being a small business owner?
Meeting other business owners and cool people like you. I've had so many awesome experiences. Like, people are so passionate about what they do. It's just like it's my baby, and I'm so excited to sit here and tell you all about my company today. Like, that's what I get to hear every day. I get to do a lot of networking too, and I meet a lot of really outgoing, fun people in Lincoln, and made some really great friends. So I went from never being able to go to a meeting, like once in a while I would get invited to a meeting at the bank, and I'd be like, woo, I'm going to a meeting today.
Most people hate meetings.
No, I know, but I was like, this is the best day. I'm going to a meeting. Now all I do is I'm in meetings all day, and so it really is like just the change I needed. I'm having so much fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So was True North, you said that you kind of started True North because you wanted to have another to tell people that you're doing something besides the real estate.
Yeah.
Has this gotten to be more than you thought it would be? Like, did you expect it to be this big?
No. It's funny because I really intended on really just growing my real estate business and then doing this on the side.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have employees or a brick and mortar or like a lot of obligation.
Right.
I really just wanted to buy properties and be a property manager. And so I focused on that right away, and I was able to grow that, my real estate side of the business pretty quickly. I think I was at like 28 units or something like that.
Oh, wow.
When I had some property managers step in. I bought properties that were managed already by these property managers. So loved that. I was like, cool, you guys want to do these properties for me too?
Yeah.
And then I can actually focus on True North. That would be great. I mean, eventually I built the real estate side of things up. I had 43 units, but I've sold some now because of the way the market's been this
Sure.
year. So I felt like I did that. I kind of did that. It was, functioning, and I didn't have to do anything with it. So then I started focusing on True North, and I mean, I realized early on, like, I can't do everything. Like, I can't be the one selling it, networking, building the app, being in touch with clients, teaching them how to use it. I knew right away I was going to need help to do all of that.
Yeah.
And have people do all the things I didn't want to do so that I could do all the things I did want to do.
Right.
So it just quickly morphed from this, like, I'm going to do this by myself idea to, I just want to grow a team and I want to be able to really deliver for my clients. I'm just kind of an all-in person. I'm not a
Sure.
half-ass.
It's kind of a good that you had a plan B then. I mean, you got to the point with the real estate where you're like, okay, I feel like I've kind of
That was fun.
conquered this, so now I'm going to go to something else that I've
Yeah.
already started.
See, I mean, and this is another thing, like, I just didn't want to deal with the headaches. Like, that felt stressful to me. I was losing sleep over tenants, that, I need to evict these guys, or I need to collect rent. And,
Yeah.
oh man, it just was so stressful. I didn't want to do that anymore. So when they were, they're already really good at property management. I'll let them do that.
Right. Hey,
And I'll do this other thing that's starting to be way more fun for me. And so yeah, now like I'd say 90% of my time I spend on True North and 10 on my real estate. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's fun.
Very good.
It's really cool to see how, I mean, you just can't plan life. I think that's the moral of this story.
Right.
Like you can go into it with like best of intentions that this is what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it, but just plan on that plan changing.
Right.
Because
You never know.
you never know.
You never know. So what do you wish you were better at in your business?
I think time management, time blocking, working on that to-do list and saving some time to like get through the to-do list and not be in meetings. I tend to get myself overcommitted with being on different boards and
Sure.
things like that. But so besides, just kind of those overall, like, getting organized type of thing,
Yeah.
which I'm just kind of a little bit scattered when it comes to that. I wish that I was like a better communicator with my team, like keeping them up to date on what I'm doing. And I think those two things go hand in hand. Like when I'm not so busy and don't have so many things on my to-do list and it's at a manageable pace, then I'm a lot better communicator with my team, and everybody's just a lot more, fulfilled by what they're doing.
Sure.
They know exactly what I'm expecting, what needs to be done, kind of timelines on those things. So making time to make sure my employees have the information they need.
Yeah.
It's just something I really need to focus on, and been trying to do that this year, but just, yeah, like we already said, like the plan just keeps changing, or
Yeah.
you add a new service and you're just kind of always a little bit behind
Sure.
the 8 ball and things. So
Has it been difficult for you to, I guess, not difficult, but have you had to grow into the role as a boss, as a manager? I mean, has that been easy for you?
I really enjoy it. Like I love seeing my employees like happy when a client has success, or they move into their first apartment, they move out of their parents' house, they buy a new car, or I see my employees like growing like on their personal side of their lives, and like that just really makes me so happy to see. I really genuinely care about my employees and, you know, want them to be happy doing what they're doing. So I'd say all the time, like, let me know if there's something that it just feels hard and you don't want to do that anymore. If there's maybe someone else that wants to do
Sure.
that. But it is difficult managing people. That's my greatest asset and my greatest risk around here. So, I mean, I had kind of a pretty big eye-opening experience, like within the last 2 weeks. We had some employees, you know, change, and I learned that you can really quickly lose control of your culture. And as much as like we really focus on culture around here, like, I mean, even like this banner has the stars and stuff on it. Like we have this, you know, galaxy, like a star theme kind of going on, and my employees are my stars, and we have galactic nucleus meeting, and you try to keep everything really fun and, you know, make sure people are happy and engaged, but you can really, you know, just lose control of a situation if one person's unhappy. So it just takes one.
Right.
So it's that communication piece. It comes back to that. If I just had heard the concerns sooner, I could have done something better.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, it's a constant learning process, but I don't have a company without my employees.
Sure.
So
Right.
like there's nothing left. If they all walked out the door, this is nothing.
Yeah.
So I'd have to start all over, and so I put a lot of emphasis on learning how to be a good leader. I always have a business coach. I always am like reading a lot of leadership books. John Maxwell is somebody that I read a lot, and just, you know, having those check-in meetings to keep up on what's really going on in your company. Don't lose sight of the people.
And you learn from those experiences, I think, you know, where maybe now you're going to be able to gauge better when things are maybe starting to go off the rails a little bit, or you feel like something's not right, the temperature's not right in the room or something like that. So you learn from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
I know exactly what you're talking about. There was, you know, a communication breakdown that I ignored. Like, I admitted to the team, I ignored it, I didn't want to deal with it. I'm an Enneagram 7, so we're like, avoid pain at all costs. And I'm going to have to face pain. As a business owner, you face it all the time, but you can't ignore an issue. You have to face it head on. So.
And I think managing people and having employees, if you get into it on your own where it's just you, you know, I think we share that in common. When I opened my office, it was just me. And honestly, managing people was not something I was thinking of. I was just trying to pay the bills. And so getting into it, you're not thinking about that when you start your business necessarily, unless you have employees right out of the gate. If it's just you, you're like, okay, I just need to pay the bills and try to make it a year, 2 years, 3 years. And so
your head down, you know, just showing up every day, working really hard. But there's all these other people that their whole life is affected by that job that they're showing up and doing for you every day. So it's really hard to find that balance.
You have to make a conscious effort to, whether it's training or building culture or whatever it is, because there's still a part of you that you just want to put your head down and work. I feel like that. Maybe not you, but I do. So I have to make that conscious effort.
Right. Because you still got bills to pay. I mean, it's really easy to just be like, I got to do this, guys. Like, you're on your own.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about, with the pandemic, you can kind of give me the timeline. I'd like to know how it affected your business, but I also would like to know from your perspective what you were able to do, maybe the pulse that you were getting from small businesses. Was there an increase in your business because of the pandemic and people maybe putting more of an emphasis on an online presence, SEO, things like that?
Yeah, it actually was good for our business. You know, that word of mouth that people relied on so much really kind of came to a halt because people weren't interacting with their friends and
Right.
neighbors, family as much. So people were, on their phones, on their
Sure.
couch, Googling whatever they needed.
Yep.
And so a lot of business owners knew that they were going to have this lull of activity. Things were going to be different. And the smart ones really invested in their company and worked on the company
Mm-hmm.
and built their brand, built their website, worked on their SEO. So we did have a lot of additional business because of the pandemic, and that allowed me to grow. And as I brought on employees that had other experiences and other background, and they were really good at something, like we were able to expand our services too, and just do an overall better job, create better process. And so I kind of look back on the pandemic with just a love-hate relationship with
Yeah.
it, because it changed the trajectory of my company,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm really happy about, but I know how, negatively it affected so many people.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I've talked to people that, small business owners, that had time that they'd never had before. And
Yeah.
so maybe they worked on more of an online presence, or they shut the doors and they repainted their entire store, or,
Yeah.
they did more of a build out, or just able to do research where they just never had time to do it before. And maybe,
Yeah.
was there anything that you implemented in your business that you thought about before the pandemic hit, and then you're like, okay, we have time to do this now, let's do it? Was there anything specific?
yeah. So, two things actually. So, first off, I started working with a business coach on
Okay.
the value builder.
Okay.
And so in that process, you sit and you write down all your goals. How do you plan to get there? What are the action steps that are going to get you those results? And a lot of a recurring theme was like, I can't do this all myself. It just gave me permission to hire people.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, I just woke up one day and thought, there's got to be a lot of really great employees out there that are just sitting around twiddling their thumbs that they want to go working again.
Right.
Why am I not hiring? Like, maybe I'll get them for a better, salary than I would have before. Like,
Sure.
This is an opportunity.
Right.
So that definitely was like a total game changer for me. The people I hired at that point in time, really made a big impact on the company.
How many did you hire?
I hired 2
Okay.
people full-time, and at that point I had 3 part-time. So I added 2 full-time people, 1 salesperson and then 1 person like head of operations.
During the pandemic.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. I know, it's crazy.
Very cool. That's
I
great.
literally was looking around, I'm like, am I the only one hiring?
Yeah.
But I just looked at
That's
it
a
a
good
little
feeling.
differently. It was like an investment in my company. Like, yes, it was gonna be, hard, and it was just gonna cost a lot, but it was gonna take my company to the place I needed it to go. And then also the same group that I bought the license for the app development software, they came out with a search engine optimization tool, where it would give you all the to-do items of how to fix a website's SEO. So it kind of, by using that software, I learned a lot about SEO, and then I just took a deep dive into it. So they came out with that in March. It was just perfectly timed I had all this extra free time, and I could just learn and absorb everything I could about SEO. And I wanted to do that for my business. So started working on our business, and then, that was working, and people were seeing that working, and they were like, well, will you do that for us? And that was
Sure.
the plan all along, but we needed to start with us. So,
Right.
so getting to add that product line gave me the time to research it and learn and just figure out the process. So that was also good for us.
Cool.
Yeah, having some of that recurring revenue was part of the value builder system as well, because those are ongoing monthly services that I wanted to incorporate, moving away from the one-off development projects.
Got it.
Having a little bit of both.
Sure.
So
Very cool.
those 2 things went hand in hand, and they were both brought on by the pandemic. So I'll just,
Yeah.
I I just try to get out of the universe's way.
Yeah.
It seems like the right thing comes at the right time if
Yeah.
you just let it happen.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and the reason that I asked this question, I've said it before, but I like to highlight how flexible and adaptable a small business can be.
Yeah.
Where there may not be the advantage of all the money or the brand name or those types of things. When something like the pandemic hits, you can change course much quicker than a big business could, and keep your business afloat.
Yeah, right.
So.
Kind of gotta just pivot. You just absolutely have to be willing to change. And I'm a little bit on the edge of that spectrum of like, I just love change. I love growth and change, and like throw a major curveball at me and like then you'll see me at my finest, basically. But not everyone like has that same reaction under stress, right? Like I saw a lot of people just completely paralyzed, and they were just waiting. They were just waiting for the pandemic to be over.
Right.
And it was hard to watch people that were doing that, but everybody's different. And if you're thinking about starting a business or you already have your business, you know how much you have to like embrace change.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Pretty key.
Yeah, absolutely. So, 2 more questions. I know you got to run. 2 more questions. First one, and this is interesting, just hearing your story, but if you could go back to 2.5 years ago, and if you could change anything or give yourself some advice back then going forward, would you tell yourself anything, or would you just let things play out as they have?
I kind of have like a double-sided answer to this question. I think the one thing I wish I would have done sooner, and even in college, was start growing a network, meeting more people, influential people that knew other people in town. Like that's been the one thing that's been the driving force for True North Technologies growth. So I wish I would have started that sooner and picked like a career that had that interaction with a lot more people.
Sure.
But all in all, like I'm so glad I didn't know what I know now.
Right.
Because I would have never done it. The risks are too great. The stress is too much. The highs really do outweigh the lows now. But if I had seen all of what it takes to get to that point, I don't know if I would have done it. I mean,
Ignorance
I'm a
is bliss.
7. Like I just avoid the pain. So ignorance is bliss. Like I don't know what I was thinking. Like honestly, I had no business starting a digital marketing company, which is essentially what I did. I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I thought I was just bringing one new technology to business owners. That was it. That was the plan.
Right. You're going to be in real estate. And
I was going to have real estate. Everything was going to be real cool, real easy.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't think anyone ever wishes that they knew something and in the end, because all of those, even if it's like something really truly bad that happens, it's maybe a little sick, but I look back on the like worst days of growing True North as like fondly as I do the really good days, because those are the days you had to dig deep and still show up the next day, and like you really do feel more proud about the like, oof, that was not great, you know, like, oh, wish I wouldn't, like in the moment it just hurts so much. But I really do have significant memories. Those are the memories of like growing the company.
Valuable lessons learned, probably too.
But at the same time, like I like telling people to, don't pay the dumb tax twice. Like if someone else can stop you from making a mistake they've made, listen to them, you know, like, seek out people in your industry. There's a lot of people out there with like an abundance mindset. Like I had really good marketers in town that sat down and had meetings with me and just kind of said what had worked, what didn't work. They wish you the best of luck and buy you lunch because they know that you're starting a new business. So I'm happy to sit down with people and repay that favor, because just ask. People are willing to like share what they know. learn from other people, but don't let that bad thing keep you from
Sure.
showing up the next day.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, just show up.
Yep.
Every day.
Yep. You never know what's going to walk in the door.
Right.
Who's going to call on the phone.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So is that the same advice if someone came to you and they said, hey, I'm going to start a business, or, people that you meet with right now?
Yeah.
What advice do you give them, or what advice would you give someone that says, I need some help, or I want some advice, I'm going to start a business?
Yeah, I would definitely direct them to places like SCORE. There's a lot of really great resources in Lincoln, Nebraska and the entire state of people that are willing to help you figure out, write a business plan, apply for a loan, set your 1-year plan, your 5-year plan, get really organized, get a great brand, like something that has a story behind it, something that that you really love, because having to change that 2 times, 3 times, whatever, throughout the course of starting your company can just waste a lot of time, and
Sure.
it's very inconsistent and doesn't look great to your potential customers. So yeah, just having that, a really great foundation, get a really great website, claim your Google My Business page.
Yep.
Not everyone knows that you need to do that. But yeah, just rely on other people, because they've either been there or they have resources. They can direct you to someone else that can help you. So
Yeah.
you don't have to do it alone. I think, people are sort of scared to say their idea, or I'm starting a company. It's hard to say it out loud, but do, and take advantage of the help that's out there.
There's a lot of people that are willing to help at no cost, to give you advice or help you out, and you just have to ask, though.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So that's my story.
All right, one bonus question. Where'd you get the name True North?
Oh, well, that's a great story. So when I was going through a divorce, my friend gave me, she sent me a link to an article about finding your true north. And I felt off track at that point in my life, just kind of, things just don't seem right. This wasn't the plan. What am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
But the article was great. The whole principle is, if you make all of your decisions based on your values, you will write your course and get back on your path to your true north. And so that just stayed with me ever since I read it.
Yep.
And, I think it's important for everybody to know what they value, and do use those when you're making big decisions, even little decisions.
Mm-hmm.
They all add up. So when I started the company, I knew right away it had to be True North Technologies. So
Easy decision.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Never changed. There is some, I don't know, it's like a vet product or something. They have the same name, but it's fairly unique. There's a lot of more True North stuff coming out. I think there's a pickup that's True North.
Really?
And we've seen snack mix and stuff that's True North. So I think other people are kind of hearing about this concept of following True North. And I've always loved astronomy, and I love that we get to incorporate all of that into our marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So the colors of our logo, obviously this is all white, but they're the colors of the Northern Lights. And there's a lot of meaning in our logo that I love. It's the beginning and end of HTML code. It's a location dropper, a compass, a water droplet that represents our 7 C's, our values, our core values. They all start with C.
Okay.
Real clever.
Right.
Yeah. And then if you're looking at it from above, it's 2 people with their arms outstretched, collaborating, helping each other. And I love everything about my company. I'm super passionate about it. And just looking at that, I know everything that there's employees that have contributed to that.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of fun to kind of look back. So thanks for letting me have the opportunity.
Absolutely. So how do we find out more about True North? Where do we go? Website?
Yeah.
Give us all that.
Go-tnt.com is our website. I'd love for you to check it out. go to the About Us page. It's really funny. Each one of us have a different GIF that's great. So you can get a kick out of that. You can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and we've been doing Facebook Live weekly at noon on Wednesdays.
Okay.
So you guys can always tune into that. We generally like highlight another local business or interview one of the True North employees. We call them our stars. So
got it.
So yeah, so you guys can check out the Nexus or just reach out to us from our website.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Renee, this was a lot of fun. You can tell the passion that you have for your business, and I think you've got a great story of, just kind of going with the flow.
Yeah.
And it's great to meet you. It's great to hear more about your business, and I thank you a lot for coming on today.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks.
Yeah.